You know that moment when your entire world collapses in the span of about 30 seconds. When everything you've worked for, everything you've sacrificed for, everything you've believed in just evaporates into thin air. When the ground beneath your feet disappears, and you're left falling into a void with no idea how to catch yourself? When every memory you've ever made becomes tainted by the realization that it was all built on a foundation of lies? That was me at 11:47 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, standing in my own office, staring at a stack of legal documents that had just been delivered by a process server. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My mind was racing, trying to process what I was reading. My whole world was crumbling around me, and I had no idea how to stop it. The process server, a bored-looking man in his 50s, had handed me the envelope and said, "You've been served, ma'am," before walking away. I'd opened it right there in the hallway, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and the words "complaint for damage" seemed to leap off the page. My name is Veronica. I am 42 years old. I have been married to my husband Marcus for 19 years. We have 2 children together, a daughter named Sophia who is 17 and a son named William who is 14. We have a beautiful home in an exclusive gated community, the kind with manicured lawns and neighbors who wave when they drive by. We have a golden retriever named Buddy who thinks he's a lapdog. We have a vacation home on the lake and a ski condo in the mountains. We are that family, the one with the perfect lawn, the perfect holidays, the perfect social media posts that make everyone else feel inadequate. I am a successful business owner. I co-founded a boutique marketing agency 15 years ago with my best friend, Vanessa. We had built it from the ground up, one client at a time. We had worked countless late nights, sacrificed weekends, and poured our hearts and souls into making it a success. I had always believed in honesty, in integrity, in doing what is right. I believed my business partnership was one of those things, right? True, built to last. Marcus is a successful surgeon, the kind of man who commands attention when he walks into a room. He is tall, handsome, and has a gentle smile that makes you feel safe. He is also kind, thoughtful, and completely devoted to his family. He is the kind of man other women wish their husbands were like. He is the kind of father every child deserves. I met him when I was 23, fresh out of college and working my first real job at a small marketing firm. He was 29, already on his way to the top. He swept me off my feet from the very first moment. He was everything I had ever wanted in a man. He was kind, intelligent, and he made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. It was a fairy tale proposal, the kind you see in movies. He took me to a beautiful restaurant overlooking the city, got down on one knee, and told me he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. I said yes, of course. I was madly in love with him. I could not imagine my life without him. He was my everything. Our wedding was beautiful. A lavish affair with hundreds of guests, a 5-tier cake, and a live band. I wore a designer dress that made me feel like a princess, and I walked down the aisle on my father's arm. When I saw Marcus waiting for me at the altar, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. I thought I had it all. I thought I was living the dream. But dreams have a way of turning into nightmares. Those legal documents in my hand were a lawsuit. Vanessa was suing me for control of our company. She was claiming that I had been stealing from the business, mismanaging funds, and breaking our partnership agreement. She was trying to take everything I had worked for. She was trying to destroy me. I read through the allegations, my eyes skipping over the dense legal jargon, catching phrases like breach of fiduciary duty, embezzlement of company funds, and fraudulent misrepresentation. She had filed a 50-page complaint, filled with lies dressed up as facts, and I knew the truth. She was the one who had been stealing. She was the one who had been mismanaging funds. She was the one who had been breaking the agreement. She was the one who was trying to destroy me, my best friend, my partner, my sister in every way that mattered. She had been plotting against me for years, and now she was trying to take everything I had. Vanessa and I had been friends since college. We met in our freshman year, 2 young women with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. We had been roommates, confidantes, and partners in crime. We had been through everything together. The good times, the bad times, the heartbreaks, the triumphs. I remembered the night we came up with the name for our agency, drinking cheap wine on the fire escape of our apartment building, laughing about the future we were going to build. When we graduated, we decided to start our own marketing agency. We were young, ambitious, and determined to make it. We worked countless late nights, sacrificed weekends, and poured our hearts and souls into building our business. We celebrated our first client together. We cried over our first loss together. We grew together. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. She held my hand when I gave birth to my children. She was there for me when my mother died. She was the first person I called when I got my dream job. She was the godmother to my children. She was my rock, my support system, my everything. I had trusted her with my life. I had trusted her with my business. I had trusted her with everything. And she had betrayed me in the worst possible way. The lawsuit was just the beginning. As I started digging, I discovered the full extent of her betrayal. Vanessa had been stealing from our company for years. She had been siphoning money into secret accounts, hiding her tracks and covering her lies. She had been building a secret life for herself, funded by my money. I stayed up night after night at my kitchen table, surrounded by bank statements and spreadsheets, my coffee growing cold as I traced the labyrinth of her deception. The numbers didn't lie. Money that should have gone to payroll, to vendors, to our shared investment accounts, had instead vanished into a series of shell companies with names that meant nothing. She had also been poisoning our clients against me. She had been telling them that I was incompetent, that I was dishonest, that I couldn't be trusted. She had been destroying my reputation, one client at a time. She had been systematically dismantling everything I had worked for. I found emails she had sent to our biggest accounts, filled with subtle implications about my personal issues and questionable judgment. She had been waging a whisper campaign for years, all while smiling at me across our shared office. And when I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. I invited her to my office, our office, and laid the evidence on the desk between us. She looked at the papers, then at me, and her expression didn't flicker. She just looked at me with cold, dead eyes, and told me the truth. "Of course I did it," she said, her voice dripping with contempt. "I deserve it. I've worked just as hard as you. I've sacrificed just as much. Why should you get everything while I get nothing? Why should you have the perfect life while I struggle? It's not fair. It's never been fair." "Fair?" I repeated, my voice shaking. "You stole from me. You lied to me. You destroyed our business. You're suing me for things you did yourself. And you think that's fair?" "I think it's justice," she said. "I think it's finally getting what I deserve. You've always had everything handed to you. The perfect husband, the perfect children, the perfect life. While I've had to fight for everything I have, it's not fair, and I'm done being the loser. Everything handed to me? I built this company with you. I stayed up late with you. I cried with you when we lost our first client. I shared my wedding day with you. I made you godmother to my children. How can you stand there and say I had everything handed to me? Because you never appreciated it," she snapped. "You walked around like you were so grateful, but you didn't know what it was like to really want something and never get it." I wanted Marcus. I met him first, you know, at a party a year before you two started dating. But he chose you. Everyone always chooses you. I stared at her, a new and terrible understanding dawning on me. This was never about the business. This was about Marcus. "It was about everything," she said. "It was about the life I should have had. The life you stole from me. So yes, I took money, I took clients. I'm taking the company, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all." I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I could do was stare at her, at the woman I had trusted with my whole heart, and wonder how I could have been so blind. She had been nursing this poison for years, and I had called it friendship. The aftermath of Vanessa's confession was devastating. Our company was in ruins. The clients were leaving, one by one, sending terse emails terminating their contracts. The employees were quitting, uncertain who to trust, their paychecks starting to bounce. The money was gone, the reputation was destroyed. Everything I had worked for was crumbling around me. I was left holding the bag. The debt was in my name. The lawsuits were in my name. The destruction was in my name. I was being held responsible for everything Vanessa had done. Creditors called at all hours. My credit score plummeted. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't face my children's questions about why mommy looked so tired all the time. But I was also determined. I was not going to let her destroy me. I was not going to let her get away with what she had done. I was going to fight back. I was going to rebuild. I was going to win. I hired a forensic accountant. I needed to understand the full extent of Vanessa's fraud. I needed to know exactly what she had done, how she had done it, and how to prove it. I needed to build a case that would destroy her. The accountant, a meticulous woman named Diane, sat down with me in my living room and spent 6 hours walking me through her preliminary findings. As she talked, I felt the ground shift beneath me. This was bigger than I had imagined. It took 3 months, but the accountant came back with a report that made my blood run cold. Vanessa had embezzled nearly $3 million from our company over the past 7 years. She had been siphoning money into secret accounts, hiding her tracks, and covering her lies. She had been living a lavish lifestyle, funded by my money, a condo in the city, luxury cars, vacations to Europe that she claimed were business trips. But that wasn't all. She had also been stealing from our clients. She had been billing them for work we never did, charging them for services we never provided, and pocketing the money. She had been destroying our reputation, one client at a time. She had been systematically dismantling everything I had worked for. I was devastated. I was angry. I was humiliated. I was destroyed. But I was also determined. I gathered all the evidence I had. The forensic accountant's report, the bank statements, the forged documents, the fake accounts, the proof of her theft, the proof of her lies, the proof of her betrayal. I put it all into a binder, every page a testament to her crimes. I had everything I needed to destroy her. But I didn't want to just destroy her. I wanted to make sure she could never hurt anyone ever again. I wanted to make sure she would never have the chance to do to anyone else what she had done to me. So I started planning my revenge. I contacted my lawyer. I told him everything. I showed him the evidence. I told him what I wanted. He was a sharp, relentless man named Robert, who had a reputation for winning cases that seemed unwinnable. "Mrs. Davis," he said, "you have a very strong case. Your business partner has committed fraud, embezzlement, and forgery. She has been stealing from you, from your company, from your clients. She has been destroying your reputation and your life. I can help you. I can make sure she pays for what she's done. What about me? What about the debt? What about everything she's done? The debt will be transferred to her. The loans were taken out in her name. The lawsuits were based on her fraud. You will be cleared. Your reputation will be restored." "Good," I said. "That's what I want. I want my name cleared. I want my reputation restored, and I want her to pay for what she's done." I also contacted the police. I gave them the evidence. I told them everything I knew about Vanessa's crimes. I told them about the embezzlement, the fraud, the forgery, the stolen money, the secret accounts, the destroyed lives. I sat across from Detective Simmons in a sterile interview room and walked her through the binder, page by page. By the end, she looked as sick as I felt. She was arrested a few weeks later. They came for her at her office, the same office where we had built our dreams together, and led her out in handcuffs. She was charged with multiple felonies. She was facing serious time. She was facing the destruction of her reputation. She was facing the destruction of her life. When Marcus found out, he was devastated. He had been completely taken in by her. He had trusted her, loved her, defended her, often telling me I was too harsh on Vanessa, that I should give her the benefit of the doubt. And she had been destroying his wife the whole time. He came home from work that night and collapsed onto the couch, his face ashen. "She used me," he said, his voice breaking. She used me for my money, my connections, my access. She never loved me. She never cared about me at all. She just wanted to destroy you. She just wanted to take everything you had. I know, I said, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of sympathy for him. She used you, just like she used all the others. I'm so sorry, Veronica. I'm so sorry for everything. I should have listened to you. I should have believed you. I should have protected you. It's too late for that, I said. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. The trial was brutal. Vanessa sat in the courtroom, her face pale, her hands shaking. She tried to defend herself. She tried to spin the story. She claimed she was a victim too. She claimed I had manipulated her. She claimed she had been coerced. She claimed she had been in love. Her lawyer, a slick defense attorney, tried to paint her as a desperate woman driven by forces beyond her control. But the evidence was overwhelming. The forensic accountant's report, the bank statements, the forged documents, the fake accounts, it was all there. Everything she had done, everything she had planned, everything she had tried to hide. Diane, the accountant, testified for hours, walking the jury through every transaction, every lie, every stolen dollar. By the end, the jury looked at Vanessa with undisguised contempt. The jury found her guilty on all counts: fraud, embezzlement, forgery, identity theft. She was facing a long prison sentence, 12 years. She was facing the destruction of her reputation. She was facing the destruction of her life. When the verdict was read, she looked at me with hatred in her eyes. "You'll regret this," she said. "You'll regret destroying my life. You'll regret everything. I'll get out. I'll come after you. I'll make you pay." I looked back at her, my face calm, my voice steady. "I'm not destroying your life. You destroyed your own life. You made choices. You made mistakes. And now you have to live with them." She was led away in handcuffs. I watched her go and I felt nothing. No pity, no satisfaction, just relief. It was finally over. She could never hurt me again. After the trial, I started the long process of rebuilding my life. My name was cleared. My reputation was restored. I went back to work, and I was welcomed with open arms. My clients had believed in me. My friends had supported me. My family had stood by me. But I was changed. The experience had changed me. I was more cautious, more guarded, more protective of my boundaries. I didn't trust as easily as I used to. I didn't give my heart away as freely. My marriage to Marcus, already strained by the years of his blindness to Vanessa's manipulations, finally crumbled. We tried counseling, but the trust was gone. He looked at me with guilt every day, and I looked at him with resentment. We divorced quietly, amicably. 2 years after the trial, he moved to a small apartment across town, and the kids split their time between us. It wasn't the ending I had imagined, but it was an honest one. I started going to therapy. I needed to process everything. I needed to work through the trauma. I needed to learn how to trust again. My therapist, Dr. Mitchell, was a patient woman who let me cry and rage and slowly, over many months, put myself back together. "Veronica," my therapist said one day, "you've been through a terrible ordeal. You've been betrayed by someone you trusted. You've been accused of something you didn't do. You've been through a trauma that would break most people. But you're still standing. You're still fighting. And that takes incredible strength." "Thank you," I said. "I don't feel strong. I feel broken. I feel like I'll never be whole again." "You will be whole again," she said. "It will take time. It will take patience. But you will heal. You will find your way back to yourself." I also started spending more time with my family. My children needed me. My husband needed me. My family needed me. We went to family therapy, the 4 of us, and slowly learned how to be a new kind of family, one defined not by what we had lost, but by what we still had. We started going on vacations. We started having family dinners. We started talking about our feelings. We started healing together. It was a long process. There were many dark days. There were many moments when I wanted to give up. But I didn't. I couldn't. I had come too far. I had fought too hard. I had survived too much. I realized that the best revenge was not in destroying her. The best revenge was in thriving, in building a better life, in becoming the best version of myself, in showing her that she could not destroy me, in showing her that I was stronger than she ever imagined. I also started to speak out. I told my story to anyone who would listen. I wrote articles. I gave interviews. I shared my experience with others. I wanted to help other women who had been through similar situations. I wanted to show them that they could survive. They could thrive. They could rebuild. I created a support group for women who had been betrayed by business partners. It started small, just a few women in a church basement. But it grew, and grew, and grew. Soon, there were dozens of us, then hundreds, then thousands. We shared our stories. We supported each other. We helped each other heal. I remember one woman named Julia, whose partner had drained their entire joint account and fled the country. She came to the group silent and broken. A year later, she stood up and told us she had started her own business and was doing better than ever. That was the moment I knew that everything I had endured had a purpose. I also started to focus on my career. I started a new company, a small one, just me. I called it Veritas Marketing because truth was the foundation I wanted to build on. I started from scratch, building my client base one at a time. It was slow going at first, but I was determined. I had survived worse. I could survive this. And I did. My new company grew, and grew, and grew. Soon I had more clients than I could handle. I had to hire employees carefully, with rigorous background checks and a culture of transparency. I had to move to a bigger office. I had to start saying no to new business. Every success felt like a victory not just over my circumstances, but over the lies that had tried to bury me. I had rebuilt my life. I had rebuilt my career. I had rebuilt my future. And I was happy, truly happy for the first time in a long time. I also met someone new, a kind, gentle man named Thomas. He was everything Marcus was not. He was honest. He was loyal. He was loving. He made me feel safe. He made me feel valued. He made me feel loved. We met at a coffee shop, a real coffee shop, not a romantic movie set, when he accidentally spilled his latte on my laptop. He was so mortified, so genuinely apologetic, that I couldn't help but laugh. He replaced the laptop, and over the following months, he replaced something even more broken: my faith in people. We got married 2 years later. It was a small ceremony, just family and close friends. I wore a simple white dress, and I walked down the aisle with my head held high. When I saw Thomas waiting for me at the altar, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. And I had found my happiness again. I had rebuilt my life. I had found peace. It's been 5 years since everything happened. 5 years since I discovered the betrayal. 5 years since I destroyed the person who had hurt me. 5 years since I started to rebuild my life. I'm happy. I'm at peace. I have everything I ever wanted. A loving husband, beautiful children, a successful career, a life filled with joy. Vanessa is still in prison. She is serving a long sentence. She has been abandoned by everyone she loved. Her family has disowned her. Her friends have deserted her. She is alone, forgotten, lost. I don't think about her much. She is not worth my time. She is not worth my energy. She is not worth my thoughts. I have forgiven her, in my own way. Not because she deserves it, not because I have forgotten what she did, but because I can't carry that anger around forever. It was too heavy. It was destroying me. I had to let it go. I have learned a valuable lesson. Trust is fragile. Once it is broken, it is almost impossible to rebuild. And sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. Sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who betray you the deepest. But that doesn't mean you should stop trusting. It doesn't mean you should stop loving. It just means you should be careful. You should protect yourself. You should always be vigilant. You should always trust your instincts. Loved this story? Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a video. I upload brand new stories every single day, gripping, emotional, and packed with twists that'll keep you guessing until the very end. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you all the feels. Comment below. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? How did you handle it? I read every single comment. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the best lessons come from other people's experiences. Got a story idea? Drop it in the comments. Your suggestion might just become the next video on this channel. Subscribe now and join our growing family of story lovers. New videos drop daily at 7 a.m. EST, perfect to watch with your morning coffee. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and never let anyone make you feel like you're not enough. Because you are. You always have been, and you always will be.